Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast where we discuss movies. I
And
did say last episode that I'd make a
not
YouTube
just
video.
movies. We don't just discuss movies, buddy.
Well, and psychology,
Yes, thank
but
you.
the entertainment that we discuss is just movies as of right now.
Anyway,
Uh, I did say we were going to cover a video or do a short video. I lied.
life got busy.
Life got busy, and this lined up perfectly. So this week we're covering the Black Swan. It's this movie's 15th anniversary, released in 2010, 2011, and I'll get to it. But yeah, so that's what we're covering this episode. But before we hop into it, if you'd like to give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, a like,
A turn on notification,
yeah,
a comment,
and then share with any of your
some
friends.
kind of interaction,
A comment, yes.
literally anything.
uh,
Watching a full TikTok all the way through, even that would be good.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, if you have any friends or anything, definitely suggest the show. I got my merch on today. I got my Psyched Up Cinema shirt. We don't actually sell merch
No,
because
it's one of a kind.
we have like 10 subscribers, so so we wouldn't sell merch.
I'm
Uh,
wearing my pink overalls that are currently covered in dog hair because we went to the self-serve dog wash today. Thank you.
yep. So, but you don't have any cool merch like I do. So,
I don't. Very sorry.
but anything to say before we hop into it?
It's life update
Life
time.
update.
I quit my job.
And we are collecting unemployment.
Hell yeah.
That's
No.
why we're asking you to subscribe, so that way we
As,
can actually live off this channel.
as an ethical therapist, I put in a 4-week notice so I can nicely terminate with all my clients and transition them to someone that I feel would be a good fit. And then I'm gonna peace out and I'm gonna be working in integrated healthcare. So primary care, warm handoffs to behavioral health care. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm still doing my thing, so which is nothing. So
It's not
uh
like you're unemployed.
I'm not unemployed, but I do nothing all day. So uh uh so anyways, let's hop into it. Let's hop into the half of what we talk about, which is movie, and then we talk psychology
Did we
after.
talk about what the topic even is?
Oh no, we didn't. What is the topic?
The topic is maladaptive perfectionism or
mm,
just perfectionism,
maladaptive.
meaning bad.
Oh, could say
That was a little excessive.
well, you could say we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So, anyways, as I mentioned before, this is this movie's 15th year anniversary. It released in Venice, did like the Venice Film Festival in September, but it released limitedly in the US in December, but then got a worldwide release late January. I'm sorry, like early January of early 2011. Still its 15th year anniversary. I don't care. So it was in the Oscar run for that year, so I'm not changing it. What is this movie about? Well, you might be asking. Well, don't worry, I got the summary for you.
Okay, good, 'cause, I hate when you put me on the spot and make me explain it.
uh, Nina. I don't know why I said it like that.
The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
That's so fucking
Weren't
stupid.
those Columbus's boats or
Yes,
some shit? Okay.
they're Columbus's
Alright, I'm just
boats.
checking. Making sure I'm not getting that shit mixed up with the Mayflower or something.
Anyways, Nita, played by Natalie Portman, is a ballerina whose passion for dance rules every facet of her life. When the company's artistic director decides to replace his prima ballerina for their prima ballerina for their opening production of Swan Lake, Nina is his first choice. Not necessarily
Yeah,
true.
yeah, that's
Um,
debatable.
no, yeah, not true. She has a competition. She has competition in newcomer Lily. However, while Nina, oh my god, I'm like tripping right now. She has a competition in newcomer Lily. However, while Nina is perfect for the role of the White Swan, Lily personifies the Black Swan. As rivalry between the two dancers transforms into a twisted friendship, Nina's dark side begins to emerge. Ooh.
Ooh.
I feel like that description's wrong. I
Yeah.
don't think that's
Also,
100%
can we
accurate.
talk about the fact that says dance is part of every facet of her life? What about her mom? Her mom rules every facet of her life.
We'll talk about her mom. But it was directed by Darren Aronofsky, who directed The Whale. Um,
Every time you say the whale, the fucking thumbnail from was it on HBO or something?
it's on
I
everything.
don't know, but it pops in my mind and I just can't get it to go away. I'm sorry, Brendan Fraser. That's
Brendan
how I
Fraser's The
see
Whale.
you in my mind now.
That's how you see Brendan Fraser. You don't even see him as the mummy.
No.
SMH.
The whale is the freshest in my mind, so that's what I see.
Fair enough. Starring Natalie Portman on a budget of $13 million. It made guesses, guesses,
25?
330 million point or 330.2 million.
Damn.
Yeah. This one I found a very interesting statistic. By the end of its opening weekend, it grossed $1,443,809, which is about $80,212 per theater. The per location average was the second highest for the opening weekend of 2010, behind the King's Speech.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money
I
per
wanna
theater.
know how many times their budget they made back just on that opening weekend, because that's crazy
Yeah,
money.
I mean, it made, if just from its opening weekend in total gross the 1.4 million. So I mean, that's about um, a little less than a tenth of its budget. So um, the film was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Cinematography, and Best Film Editing. Who won?
Natalie Portman had to
Natalie
win.
Portman won. Natalie Portman won Best Actress. No other dubs in that category. But I would still say the film is a big success.
Clearly.
Yes, very clearly. Some fun facts, and I have a fun fact, and then there's actually a controversy around this
Ooh.
movie. I know. So we're turning into a gossip channel. Fun facts: Portman worked out for 5 hours a day, doing
Damn.
ballet, cross training, and swimming. And a few months closer to filming, she began her choreography training.
Wait, so was that actually her dancing?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So, to answer your question, the controversy of this movie is, so Natalie Portman did have a backup dancer.
Okay, I
Her
figured because like, learning how to wear point shoes and dance on point when you don't have a background in ballet and you're just trained to do it for a movie, that's a big ask.
So Portman had done ballet when she was a kid. So
Oh,
she had a
okay.
little bit of experience, and then she went to a lot of training with this movie. So she did have some experience, and that number does come up in this controversy. So this is after Portman had won the Oscar. After Portman won the Oscar, her dance double, Sarah Lane, which she is a professional ballet dancer, obviously, because that's her double.
Mhm.
Um, she was annoyed she wasn't getting enough recognition for her part in the film. She wasn't mentioned in Portman's speech. She questioned whether it was forgetfulness in the heat of the moment, or was it omission and the deletion from the video planned by the studio's publicity machine. Now, when it says deletion of the video, there's a special feature that was supposedly deleted. I think you can still find it now, but I think it was deleted right before the Oscar run, where it showed Sarah Lane dancing, but then it was a VFX thing where it put Natalie Portman's face on it. So
Mm.
that video was hidden supposedly to make it seem like Portman did all of her own dancing. Supposedly, that's the question here. It was also noted that Lane is credited as Lady in the Lane and as stunts rather than Portman's double in the theatrical release of the film.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
Give the lady her credit. She did a damn good job. And ballet is not an easy thing to do. Give the lady her credit.
We're not done yet, though.
Okay.
Um, so Aronofsky and Fox Searchlight issued a joint statement arguing, end quote, "We were fortunate to have Sarah there to cover the more complicated dance sequences and have nothing but praise for her for the hard work she did. However, Natalie herself did most of the dancing featured in the final film."
Still give her credit though.
Well, she is credited. Um, and then this is a quote from Sarah Lane. Um, I know that some people are getting very defensive about the Black Swan and my role in it, but backstabbing is not my purpose when people ask me about the legitimacy of the dance shots in the film. I only care to speak the truth. The truth is that no one, not Natalie Portman or even myself, can come anywhere close to the level of professional ballerina uh, in a year and a half, period. That doesn't mean that I don't admire Natalie and her acting. She is so talented and can inspire people as well with her own art form. She did an amazing job portraying her character in Black Swan. My only wish is that Natalie, Darren, the director, and certain others who worked closely on the movie could have grasped the beauty and the heart of true ballet. If they had, they would have advocated for this art and have given the real dancers the credit they deserve.
I feel like that's valid.
It's hard to say. It, there's some validity in this. It just feels it grew out of almost jealousy.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I also feel like there is validity in that jealousy as well because she got credit. Natalie Portman got credit for work that she didn't do all herself.
But Sarah Lane was credited.
Just not appropriately.
Yeah, I would say she probably should have had the double credit.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And not to downplay Natalie Portman's training for the role and the work she put into it, but we need to acknowledge both people that put a lot of work into the training there.
yeah, it's just so because I don't have the numbers in front of me. It's like this much was Portman, this much was Sarah Lane. Because I mean, for all we know, could have been like 5 shots that Sarah Lane was there for.
Even if that's true, like, there's a reason they hired her to do those 5 shots, and it's because they couldn't do it with someone that only trained for, what, a year and a half?
Yes, but she was credited and compensated for it.
Not appropriately credited, that's my problem. They should have named her appropriately in the credits. That's my beef with it,
It's
personally.
hard to it's just hard for me to say because I don't have the exact thing in front of me, but I mean, there's a lot of things that go in the movie where there's a lot of people put a lot of hard work into it, and I mean, if you look in the credits of a movie, you can see how many people work on it. So, I mean, yes, Natalie Portman does a great job in that movie, but also her performance is more than just she did some of the dancing.
Yeah,
It- So,
totally.
if coming from this after an Oscar speech who just won a Best Actress, I even if Natalie Portman did her all of her own dancing and she sucked ass at like the role. Just like she did all of her dancing, but then was terrible at acting. No one would give a shit. But now
Mhm.
this is coming from Natalie Portman did such a great job performing this, and she did some of her dancing. It feels almost like, well, actually, she didn't do all of her dancing. I did some of it. I wasn't credited for it though, but you
Yeah.
were put on the stunts credit. That's my issue with it. It feels very much like you are trying to take someone else's glory in that moment.
I totally get that, but at the same time, I feel like they shoulda done a better job at crediting her. I'm not saying that she 100% shoulda that Natalie Portman 100% shoulda given a shout out in her speech because, like you said, if she didn't act that role incredibly, nobody would give a shit about her
Yeah,
in that role in general. Also, that's a lot of pressure in making a acceptance speech. So I get forgetting things, or even if she didn't intend to mention her, I feel like fair enough. What are you gonna
yeah.
name everyone who worked on the
Yeah,
movie?
exactly. Oh, I'd like to thank my costume, my and makeup person. I would also like to thank My
Because
PA, my driver. It's
anyone
like
can make the same argument, like, "I'm the one who drove her to set every day, and she didn't name me in her acceptance speech. She wouldn't have made it to set if I didn't drive her." Yeah, I get that. Like, that's kind of ridiculous to
yeah.
expect a credit in the acceptance speech. However, a credit in the movie, I feel they should have done a better job.
Yeah, I mean, in the credits, I do agree that it should have been listed as Natalie Portman's double. But
Yeah.
also, I don't know if she was just her double or if she did more stunts. Because if she did more stunts, then stunts make sense.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say because I mean, I wasn't fucking there. I wish I was, but I wasn't there. But I was like 9 years old at that point, 10 years old. um, I just don't like where this controversy spawned from. And Portman, I actually have a quote from her. So Portman was asked about the controversy, and then she said, in quote, "I had a chance to make something beautiful with this film. I don't want to give in to the gossip." She also said, "I know what went on. We had an amazing experience making the movie. I don't want to tarnish by entering into nastiness. I'm really proud of everyone's work on the movie and my experience, and I'll have that forever. So it's nice for me to always know about that, no matter what kind of nastiness or gossip is going around."
I don't know if I'd call it nastiness. I feel like that's a strong word.
Yeah, I mean, but
Gossip, yeah, 100%. Nastiness, I don't know. Jealousy, 100%.
yeah. But I mean, would you say that jealousy isn't kind of nastiness in a
It
way?
can be. I just feel like that's a strong
I
word.
think it's nasty for somebody to win an award and then somebody to be like, "Well, I wasn't credited for it fully because they won an award." That's what I think is nasty.
I feel like there was a she has a the stunt double or dancer, whatever, has a right to be upset about not being named appropriately, but to put that on
Portman.
Natalie Portman and attribute that issue to her acceptance speech rather than what the true issue is, that was not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more of a like a Fox Searchlight uh producer
Yeah,
thing where
which I feel like she has a right to be upset with them,
yeah.
but it has nothing to do with Natalie Portman. She
Yeah.
didn't do anything wrong in my opinion.
Oh, no. And I mean, I feel like it's kinda shitty to throw Portman under the bus being like, she could never learn ballet in a year and a half, which, I mean, yeah, she's right, but also, even though that movie is about ballet, like I mentioned before, if her performance wasn't good, this movie wouldn't be getting nearly the recognition. So, do you think Portman deserves the
Yeah.
recognition? It's kinda like, Miles Teller in Whiplash.
Mm,
Like, that performance in that movie is really good, but if somebody came up to you and was like, well, yeah, he was really good, but I actually did the drumming on that." Would you give a fuck? No. That's the thing. It's even though that movie's about drumming, if somebody was like, "Well, actually, I did the drumming for that." Okay. Did you do the fucking acting too? No.
yeah.
And it's like that's my issue with it.
That's also not the award that's being won with the best actress.
Yeah.
It's not best dancer.
Yeah,
If
no.
she got, like, a best dancer award and accepted it without mentioning the stunt double, I would've been like, "That's bullshit."
Yeah.
But it's actress.
Yeah, and we're not gauging off dancing, even though the
Yeah.
movie's about ballet. There's a lot of other things that go into it, than just that. Uh, but yeah, so that was that. That was a controversy. I'm actually glad we had a different take on that because I was expecting you to just kind of agree with me.
I mean, I do. I do
Yeah.
agree with you generally.
Hmm.
I think she should have been appropriately credited, but I definitely think it was inappropriate to act like Natalie Portman was in the wrong for not mentioning her in the acceptance speech. I do feel like that 100% comes from a place of jealousy and
Hmm.
not like valid frustrations.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the controversy behind the
She's
movie.
projecting. That's my take.
Yeah, could say that maybe falls in line with the other ballerinas in the movie.
Mm,
The fake ones, or I guess in the fictional stories. Should say the fake ballerinas because I'm sure probably most of them are real in that. But yeah, that's that. Those are the fun facts. That's a controversy. So this we actually didn't, neither of us picked this movie. We would usually ask why we picked this movie, but we picked it because it was the anniversary and we wanted to watch it.
yeah.
So
I had heard about it prior, heard it had some psychological themes in there. I've heard conversations online about it being like a doppelganger themed movie.
Mhm.
I don't know. I didn't do my research on that, so I can't agree or disagree there,
Mhm.
but I don't care enough to look into it.
Was this movie what you expected?
No, not at all. Not at all. I did not think it was going to be as sexual as it was. I didn't think that there was going to be all that body horror. In some ways, it was kind of like The Substance, but far less
Oh,
gory.
yeah.
Um, I just didn't think it was gonna be that.
Mhm.
And the visuals were really interesting. The I guess you could call it hallucinations she was experiencing,
Mhm.
seeing that and not really, because I guess you could say there's an unreliable narrator here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
It's so interesting because I feel like that is not a point of view we get often in movies, is from an unreliable narrator. So seeing those hallucinations, things that weren't actually happening, playing out in front of us is like, what's real? What's actually going on here? I'm confused.
Well, it kinda reminds me of Joker too with the unreliable narrator.
God. I saw that shit-eating grin go across your face very subtly when I said that. I was like, "What stupid ass thing is he about to say?" And there it is. There it is.
Love Joker too, baby.
I
Uh,
wanna make it very clear that
we do
it's
not
a
know.
no. No. We do not like Joker 2 in any capacity. That movie was dog shit. It was so bad.
Um, what did you expect this movie to be?
I guess I expected there to be more truth to her story and her not to be a delusional person.
Mhm.
I did not expect the drama with the mom.
No, me neither.
Nowhere that I've seen articles about the movie online did it mention the whole mom plot line, but that was really something else.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't expect it to have so many psychological themes in it.
No, me neither. I was expecting it I keep bringing this movie up. I was expecting it to be very much like Whiplash, where it's from the dancer's point of view, somebody is trying to. I knew, like generally, it's about somebody trying to get a lead role, um, and I know there's some self doubt, and I know it was about perfection, but that's about all I knew about it.
I expected there to be more vindictiveness, like from Lily,
Hmm.
and more jealousy on her end,
Hmm.
but she was really gunning for Nina.
Yeah,
She was trying to be a good friend and help her to let loose in the way that she was told to embody that role better.
yeah.
I don't think she had any malice, and that's not anything that I expected going into the movie.
Yeah, I have a little note that we'll kind of loop back to her about because I think there's some things where I'm not sure whether it's actually Lily or it's a hallucination or not. But yeah, I was expecting this to be a very straightforward movie about a ballerina. I was not expecting the family drama aspect of it with the mother. Was certainly not expecting the psychological horror part of it. This movie actually got a scare out of me. The when she was in the bathtub and that was that jump scare,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, "Jesus." This actually scared the shit out of
Oh
me.
my god, that part where she was peeling the hangnail, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't wanna look at that." Ugh.
And then it, like, rips her whole finger
Yeah.
off.
Oh my god,
Um,
and I thought I've had bad hangnails before.
yeah, I think that's also part of why it works too, because I don't think you expect it from this
No.
movie when you go into it initially.
I do think that made it all the more impactful,
Oh, yeah.
100%, not expecting it go again. Kinda like Weapons. I didn't think
Yeah.
Weapons was gonna be what it was,
No.
but it made it so much more interesting.
Oh, yeah. I love going this is kind of off topic, but I love going into movies blind because it does add in that element of I know generally what this is about, but I have no idea what it's actually about.
We kinda did that with Mickey 17 as
Did that make
well.
you 17? I originally watched the thing completely blind, which that movie Blind is fucking insane. But I don't know. I really like watching movies with almost zero knowledge of it or just a general idea. Oh, this is a ballerina movie. That's it, and that's all I know. And then you learn so much about it. I think it just adds so much to it. And it's kind of, I think it's the way the director intends to watch for you to watch a movie is kind of blind and not
Mm.
see all 50 trailers.
I
Mm,
had never even seen one trailer.
oh no, me neither. So yeah, no, I liked it a lot going into this blind. I have one of my notes here is I did not expect this to be a psychological horror whatsoever.
No, me neither. I really thought it was, like you said, more of a whiplash type story where it's about somebody's grit and hard work and how it affects them to be so dedicated to a role.
Mhm. Yeah. But the psychological horror works so well because she's the perfect white swan, but doesn't have the evil black swan side to her. So it makes so much sense for that psychological horror to come into play. For that counterpart or for that
Mhm.
juxtaposition of her. And I love the intro of the Black Swan too, where she's just walking down the New York City sidewalk under construction area, and she just sees her face. Because when you first see it, you're like, "Is that her?" and then I think the other person turns their head around, so it's like, "Oh, maybe that wasn't her." So
Mhm.
it kind of plays with you a little bit, where you're thinking, is it her or did I see something? And it does that so well, and I think that's a nice setup too, where the movie is establishing the rules of when she sees herself, this is not real. When she
Mm.
sees her, when she doesn't see herself, it's probably real.
It also shows how in her own head she is. She's so paranoid about losing this role because she's fought so
Yeah,
hard for it up to this point that that hijacks her brain.
yeah, no, 100%. And all well, I'm sure we'll get more to her mother, but her mother says that this role has been changing you, and she's right.
Yeah.
But her mother's an asshole.
Yeah, her mother is really, really something
Yeah,
else.
I'm sure we will talk about her mother in great depth.
We
I
don't even
literally
have enough time to unpack the mom character because that obviously comes from some deep generational wounds
Oh,
going
yeah.
on and also some self-hatred with regretting having a daughter because she gave up her career, and then there's that complex of forcing your kid to live out your own
Yeah.
dreams.
We can talk about the mother now, might as well.
Okay.
But when we're watching the movie, there was something that she was doing, and I was like, "Well, that explains why she's so."
Oh, was
Uh,
it the cake?
yeah,
So
yeah,
when Nina gets the role of the was it the Swan Queen?
yeah, Swan Queen.
Her mom bakes her a cake and brings it out, and she's like, "It's our favorite flavor." And Nina's like, "Oh, just have a little bit." And the mom's like, "I'm just gonna throw it in the trash. It's horrible. You hate me. I'm the worst mother ever." I was like, "Oh boy, that's all right. That's where we're going with this.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
who mom is."
that's why I think Nina gets the drive for perfection because it started with pleasing her mom and trying
Mhm.
to shapeshift with her mom, and it's really interesting.
And we also know kind of along the way from the scenes in the bathroom that Nina's got an eating disorder issue going on as well. She's thrown up in the
Oh
bathroom,
yeah, 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 yeah. I
and she
forgot
was
about that.
talking about watching her figure and only wanting that little bit of cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting though. I think a lot of
And her mom focuses a lot on Nina's body and making it look as perfect as possible. When she
mhm,
has that scratch on her back, she's like, "Oh, you have a couple things that you could use to cover it up. Make sure nobody sees it."
yeah, and it affects Nina so much too because I think that's where that hangnail thing comes from, where
Yeah.
she just focuses on the most minute thing, and when she tries to fix it, it causes the drastic thing of
Mhm.
her peeling her whole skin off her hand, and
Like,
um,
do not it drives home the message, do not any let anybody see you be anything but perfect.
yeah,
And that 100% comes from her mom.
yeah, which is interesting because it kind of it. talks about it kinda has a part of what we talked about Matilda with the dysfunctional families, where her mother is kind of the manipulator in a way, and Nina's just kind of I would almost say Nina's like the middle child, or there's one that's, like, very agreeable with everything.
Mhm. The
She reminds
golden
Yeah, the golden
child,
child, that's what it was.
100%.
So it has that element to it too, which is
Because
interesting.
she's before hanging out with Lily, she was so used to just bending to her mother's expectations.
Mhm.
She would let her mom smother her with no protest whatsoever.
Yeah,
She
and
was
she even
just
have a
trying to be
fucking
the
lock on her
perfect
door.
kid. Yeah. And she wasn't even allowed to go to the bathroom by herself.
No. Yeah, when that first happened, when she moved that dresser over in front of the door, I was thinking to myself, "Why is she doing that?"
Yeah.
And then it starts to make sense.
I was thinking, "Oh, that's very paranoid.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?" But seeing her
Yeah.
mother's behavior after that, I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
this is just the dynamic."
At first, I thought I was trying to set up a thing where it's like, "Oh, this is just like a crappy New York apartment. They only have a lock on the door, so they have to put something in front of it." That's what I was
I thought it
expecting it
was
to
just
be.
setting up the fact that she's a paranoid person, doesn't want
Mm.
anyone to see her being anything less than perfect, but it was more like, if I don't block my mom out, she's going to try to fix in very large air quotes any imperfections she sees.
Right. And I also like the introduction of the mom because she seems so nice and supportive, and
Mhm.
she is supportive. You could make the argument,
Yeah.
just not in a
In
good
a
way.
selfish,
Yeah.
motivated kind of way. And she even outright says, like, "I threw my career to have you. I threw away my career to have you."
Mhm. Yeah. Says that all right.
Then are you really proud of her, or are you proud of her as an extension of you?
Yeah. And that's a lot I think I experienced growing up with, like, baseball kids and their dads,
Oh my
living through them.
god. I found that hockey parents I'm sorry, if you grew up playing hockey or you're a hockey parent, I'm sorry, but hockey parents are something else.
See, it seems like in the Northeast or Massachusetts, it's hockey parents, but in Florida, it was baseball parents.
I just When I was a summer camp counselor, I had multiple kids that were in hockey camp, and our camp started at, like, 8:30 AM.
Mhm.
I would have kids pull up a little bit late saying that they had been at hockey camp since 5 in the morning,
Jeez.
and then they got sent to an outdoor summer camp with a lot of physical activity after that. Kids' mouths, like, fucking covered in Gatorade because, of course, that's
Yeah.
what sports kids do, and I'm like, "What happened to you? Why do you look like this at, like, 9 AM?" "Oh, I came from hockey camp." Like, can these parents chill? Chill. It's not the Olympics, relax. It's really not that deep that you're how old is the kid? Like 12, 11, 12-year-old? It's not that important that your 11 or 12-year-old is a hockey pro. Fucking chill, because he didn't look like he was having a good time either, being awake since 5 AM.
That's another
Also,
thing too.
having had an energy drink to keep him awake at 11 or 12
Nice. That's
blows my
another
mind.
thing too, and it shows in this movie where living through your child causes this resentment, and eventually, in some capacity, whether the child knows it yet or not, at some point they'll come to a realization that it's a selfish motivation for
Mhm.
them to be supportive.
Yeah, and then the words of affirmation mean nothing after that.
Yeah, because just yeah, you're patting yourself on the back, or
Yeah.
their parents are patting themselves on the back. Um, yeah, and I mean, her mother is. It's so weird because then she calls the theater and then says, "Oh, well, she's not feeling good,"
Mhm.
rather than waking her up and telling her, trying to get her to go.
I How did you interpret that? I wanna hear your interpretation first.
I think her mom's an idiot.
You
uh,
feel like it just comes from her being stupid?
yeah.
I took it as she's now realizing my daughter is more successful than I ever was. This is making me feel really insecure. I need to sabotage and I need to regain control over her because
Mm,
her new power and status is now leading to her defying me. and the careful dynamic that I've created between us is starting to crumble, and I need to put it back together by knocking her down a peg,
Mm.
by taking away what gives her any kind of power or status.
I can see that. I view it more as her mother. She says that she gave up her career and stuff, and then Nina says, "What career?" So when I hear that, I think of her mom has no idea how the system works in ballet because she
Mm,
never made it. So she thinks that, oh, she calls out from the show. It's no big deal. It's whatever. That's how I view it. That's why I said I think she's just stupid because she doesn't understand
I
how
could
it
see
works
that.
and how big of a deal it is. But I now that you said it, I think I agree with your take because it makes me sound a lot smarter to say that.
I also feel like to some degree she does get it because she asks about, like, is the director, whatever the fuck the
Tomas.
Tomas is he abusing you? Is he taking advantage of you? So she knows some ins and outs of the dance world, that there's some sketchy shit going on and
Mhm.
that you have to sometimes do really icky things to get ahead.
Right, but I think that's just a thing that people know about entertainment industries as a whole. I didn't really view that as her being insightful. I took it more so her just going through gossip mills,
Mm,
even though Tomas definitely does that, and we'll talk about him.
all right, fair enough.
So agree to disagree though, but I think there's definitely some different interpretations in there, but it has the same root of her mother is living vicariously through her, and whether it's to
100%.
regain control or her mother doesn't understand exactly how the system works. There's
Mm.
just that underlying thing of whether or not, and I guess we'll never know.
I just feel like the way it was timed after Nina had her outburst towards her mom
Hmm.
and was defying her, that's why I feel like this was mom's scramble to get her power back,
Yeah,
to put her daughter back in the little, um, permissive not permissive,
agreeable. Yeah,
compliant, agreeable role that she took on before.
yeah,
Like, "Get back in your fucking box, Nina."
and I agree. A good way to support the control theory is how she just shuts the door on Lily. And Nina's like, "Well, who was that?" And then finds out that Lily was there trying to get her to hang out or get dinner. And her mother's just like, "Oh no, no one's there." Just
Mhm.
trying to control before the big day.
Yeah.
Um, Tomorrow where she went on stage. So I can definitely agree
Which
with
is
that.
really interesting because why do you care so much about that if you were gonna sabotage it anyway? Like, you need to be ready. You can't go out and have a I mean, that could be more of a control thing too. Like, you're not allowed to have a social life
Yeah.
that will make you more successful, have more social power.
Well, keep in mind that she lives vicariously through her. So she wants her to be completely ready for the next day because then
Mm,
it makes her look good or she feels better about it and she feels like that she has done something successful. That's why I think she cares. And the reason why she doesn't wake her up is because Nina just completely blows up at her when she gets back
mm.
from
So
dinner.
she's like, "I'm gonna make you feel the way you made me feel," pretty much.
Yeah. Or just to be an asshole at that point.
Yeah, which that's in character for the mom.
Yeah. And she also tries to baby her with, like,
Mhm.
leaving the childhood dolls and stuff around the room that she throws away.
But if Nina wants any sense of autonomy, the mom goes into victim mode. "Oh, I'm just the worst mom ever. You hate me. Oh, I'm terrible. You don't love me."
Yeah, but
Everyone knows somebody like that. Tell me who it is. Tell me a story about that
leave
person
a
in your
comment
life.
on who's a toxic person in your life.
Who is the chronic victim complex person in your life? Everybody knows someone who just loves turning any situation into an attack on themselves.
Yeah. And then leave their social security number and then
Credit card details are preferable as well.
um, is there anything else to say about the mother?
No, she's just whack.
She is whack. Someone who may or may not be whack. What do you think of Lily?
I think that she has good intentions with poor execution and doesn't realize it because she's trying to expose Nina to a different way of life. I think she's trying to get her to loosen up and to be able to embody that Black Swan role because she really feels for her when she sees Nina struggling that night
Mhm.
at the studio. And I feel like this was her not so great way at trying to help Nina embody that role by loosening up and doing something different and not just complying with her mom for once in her life.
Mhm.
Definitely was not done the right way, was not an appropriate thing to do, and it ended up harming Nina,
Yeah.
but I don't think that was her intention.
No, I agree with you. I think for the most part, she's trying to be a good person.
I think she just doesn't think things all the way through.
Yeah.
I think she's impulsive, which that's very Black Swan of her to be.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I think she just lives her life a different way and doesn't understand how Nina's life is.
Right.
She doesn't get really a full picture of it until later on.
Mhm. I don't even think she does get a picture
No,
of
she
Nina's life
doesn't
because
because
it's
she
fake.
doesn't end up
Yeah.
actually sleeping over.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really understand basically anything about Nina's life other than her mom is a little fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, I guess she does get a little bit of an idea when she meets her mother and the door just shuts on her face.
Yeah.
Um,
But she definitely, I don't think, thought that that night out at the club was going to be as jarring to Nina as it was.
no. Something that I'm a little conflicted on is when Nina's mom calls out of the theater and Lily takes up the replacement spot for her. And Nina gets there and then she says, I thought you were supposed to be sick. That's where I'm thinking, does she actually say that? Was she just expecting to go on? Why did she even say that? And if she did, why?
Mm.
Because
Well, imagine, let's say you just go to a day at work and your boss tells you, "Oh, Joe called out from work. He's really sick. He's not going to be in today." But then, like 10 minutes later, he shows up. Aren't you going to be like, "Why are you here?"
it was just the cadence that it was set in. It felt more angry than it did, but it could also just be her imagining it.
Hmm. Maybe the words were said, but it's the tone that was imagined.
Yeah. I don't think she ever really shows that she wants her position though.
No, I think she's just there to have fun,
Yeah.
honestly, which is what makes her a good black swan because she can let loose and authentically just be this chaotic, fun, outgoing personality. It's
Mhm.
not manufactured like it is with Nina. She doesn't have to try to embody that role. I think it just comes very naturally to her, and Nina takes that as a threat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100% cuz I don't think Nina understands how Lily works because
Yeah.
she's so unexposed to living free and letting go. Uh but
But
I
she
yeah.
definitely envies that that Lily can live that way,
Yeah.
and she can't,
Yeah, 100%.
which I
Um
feel like fuels her jealousy even more, is you get to be this fun, chaotic, just let loose type of person, and that can't be me, but I
mhm.
need to be that. I have to be that, but I'm not.
Yeah. And it definitely comes from a place of jealousy. Um and it's just so interesting to see Nina live a life where she's completely locked up basically and Lily's so free and Nina just immediately sees that as a threat for why she could lose the leading role.
Well, I think she knows very well that she's lacking in certain areas,
Mhm.
and she sees Lily excels in those areas, and that's threatening to her.
Mhm.
Like, she gets in her own head about, well, if Lily wanted to, she could just take my role. And she convinces herself that that's reality
Yeah.
because she's so afraid of losing what she worked so hard for.
Yeah. Now, would you say her transforming into the Black Swan is a bad thing or a good thing for her?
Nina,
Yeah.
bad because it was abrupt and very manufactured. I think if there was a black swan side to her that developed in a healthy way by her saying, "You know what, mom? I don't wanna live like you. I'm gonna do something that I wanna do rather than being dragged into someone else's
Mhm.
shenanigans like Lily," and have it be, like,
Yeah.
overstimulation. Um, I think she woulda turned out okay if she had made that decision herself and done it in a way that felt authentic to her.
Mhm.
But because it was something she pushed herself into for the sake of embodying it for that role, she did it way too fast, way too abrupt, too much, too fast,
Yeah.
too soon, and it ended up just being damaging.
Yeah. I think the Black Swan persona has some positives. Like, she's not a path for people to walk on. She
Yeah.
actually is a person that has boundaries and can articulate her issues.
She also learns how to be assertive
Yeah.
and to say, "No, I'm here. I'm gonna do this role. I showed up. I know I'm late, but I showed up, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it."
Yeah. But I do agree with you where it's not healthy for
Yeah.
her the way it came over her just so abruptly. Because I mean it really did happen in the last like 23 minutes of the movie. I mean it happens a little bit where it builds up, but then it's just once the she goes out to dinner with Lily, that's where I feel like the Black Swan's taken over.
I think 2 scenes that really encapsulate that transition from White Swan to Black Swan is when she goes to Toma to ask for the role,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Well, I've already picked someone else." And she's like, "Oh, okay," and goes to leave, and he's like, "Aren't you gonna argue why you should have that instead?"
Hmm.
And she's like, "No." Versus when she comes in late, it's almost showtime, and she just starts putting on the makeup and putting on the outfit, and Tomas comes in, he's like, "You know, I already told Lily she can do it. She's ready. She's in the costume." And she's like, "No,
Hmm.
no, this is my role. I'm gonna do it."
Yeah.
That was very Black Swan.
Yeah. Do you like Toma?
No, fuck no. Why would I like him? He's a rapist. Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not a good person.
No, he abuses his power 100%. He's a douchebag. He's so icky. He's also grooming these girls
Oh
to
yeah.
be his sex slaves. Ew.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does he call Beth?
My Little Princess.
Blech. That gave me a visceral reaction. My little princess. That's disgusting. Ugh. And then he says that to Nina. I'm like, bruh, you gotta be shitting me.
Well, I like when he says that in the movie because that's really that full circle thing where Lily says, "Oh, has he started calling you my little princess yet?" And then that's that full circle moment where she's now been, for lack of better words, ever I guess perfect words, groomed into being how
Yeah.
the perfect dancer for him.
Mhm.
But then she dies.
Boo, Toma, you suck. He's awful.
He does have a cool name though,
He
Toma.
gives good feedback to Nina, but does it in a really fucking gross way.
Yeah.
Like her needing to loosen up and just be more free and natural with her movements. Totally. That's
Mhm.
good feedback. You don't need to do that by groping her though.
Oh no.
Fucking weirdo.
And trying to kiss her.
And he's like, "Open your mouth. Open your mouth." No, close yours, buddy. Ew.
um But yeah, should we anything else to say about the movie before we talk about the psychological topic?
No.
All right.
So, the topic I picked to cover is perfectionism. How would you define perfectionism? Just off the dome.
The dome, the drive for perfection. I would say perfectionism is a goal set by somebody that is completely built on personal experience and there's no founding proof of what actually is perfect, but it's perfect in their mind. So they seek this goal that is nearly impossible for them to achieve.
That's a good way of putting it. So I didn't realize before I read this article, this is an article from 2018 on Medical News Today. I didn't realize that there's actually multiple forms of perfectionism, and each one comes with their own definition and
Mm.
different set of struggles. And Nina struggles with two different forms of perfectionism,
Okay.
which makes her story that much more compelling
Mhm.
and includes that much more struggle.
Mhm.
So, this article says that experts tend to define perfectionism as a combination of excessively high personal standards and overly critical self evaluations. However, there are more nuances to this definition. Gordon Flett and Paul Hewitt are two leading authorities in the field of perfectionism, both of whom who have studied this topic for decades. Together, the two psychologists define three main facets of perfectionism in a landmark study they published almost 3 decades ago. They say that there is self oriented perfectionism, other oriented perfectionism, and socially prescribed perfectionism. And prescribed is deemed the most debilitating of the three forms.
Mm.
And that basically means that individuals believe their social context is excessively demanding, that others judge them harshly, and that they must display perfection to secure approval.
Mm.
100% Nina.
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah.
And another study looked at the suicide rate of perfectionists, or the rate of people that committed suicide that were
Mm.
perfectionists.
Mhm.
Of young people who died by suicide, how many would fit the definition? What percent would fit the definition of perfectionist?
10%?
70.
Oh, wow. That's a big number. That's a
So
70% of young people who commit suicide.
So one study found that over half of people who died by suicide were described by their loved ones as perfectionists, and another study found that more than 70% of young people who died by suicide were in the habit of creating exceedingly high expectations for themselves.
Mm.
Um And then there's the other type of perfectionism that Nina struggles from, which is self oriented. And that's defined as individuals attach irrational importance to being perfect, hold unrealistic expectations of themselves, and are punitive in their self evaluations. How do you think it would affect someone to be a perfectionist? What are some of the potential negative outcomes of perfectionism that you could think of?
Well, I think definitely a lot of self-hatred, in a way where you're driving for something that's maybe nearly impossible or impossible to achieve, or it's just a fictitious standard. So I would say there's some self-hatred with that. Disappointment would probably be disappointed in themselves or others. Why can't other people do this? Or why can't I do this? Kind of disappointed in that way. Um,
What about other diagnoses they might have? What diagnoses do you think that
OCD,
that's one of them?
ADHD.
Mm, didn't see that in there.
Um,
ADHD is a neurological thing.
oh yeah, true.
So you could say that people with ADHD have a certain likelihood of being perfectionists, but not, I don't know. I don't know how to phrase it, but correlation, not causation.
Right.
And um, ADHD is a brain type.
So I'd say OCD, depression.
Hmm.
Was there one more?
There's two more.
Oh, two more. I think I need a hint. I think I need to phone a friend.
Being worried.
Anxious.
Mhm. And
Um,
then another thing that Nina embodies that we briefly touched on.
Sheltered.
Diagnosis.
Oh, is that to do with the skin picking?
No, that is a form of OCD, though. So you did already touch
Ugh,
on that.
damn. I don't know.
Eating disorders,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
because that's a body-based obsession.
Right.
So let's see, where did I draw this from? Psychology Today, um, put out an article about perfectionism, and they talk about the dangers of being a perfectionist. And the article says perfection, of course, is an abstraction and an impossibility in reality. When taken too far, the striving for perfection can lead to negative outcomes like procrastination, a tendency to avoid challenges, rigid all or nothing thinking, toxic comparisons, and a lack of creativity. Maladaptive perfectionism is often driven by fear of failure, feelings of unworthiness, low self esteem, and adverse childhood experiences. It's frequently accompanied by depression, anxiety, OCD, eating disorders, and even suicidal impulses,
Mm.
which I think a lot of that is shown in Nina.
Oh, yeah. Well, even just I like the first thing that that person says, the fictitious standards. And I mean with Nina, it's not that the standards are fictitious. The standards are for her to let loose, but she has no idea how to do
She's trying to
that.
let loose in the most perfect, rigid
Yes.
way.
And that's I like what that person says about it causes a lack of creativity because she is a great dancer. And I would maybe say she was creative, but she doesn't do it in a creative, passionate way where somebody just loves an art and they kind of just let it free like Lily does.
Mhm.
With Nina, it's just how can I binarily put this in my brain 0101 to
Yeah.
make sure that
It's
I'm with
about
it.
reaching a set of standards that tell her that she's doing something right,
Mhm.
doing something very technically correct, rather than really embodying a role and being letting her passion take over and stuff like that. And that's a lot of the feedback that she gets, but you can't let loose in a perfect way.
No, it's
There's
impossible.
no right way to do it. There's creative interpretation of what that means, but because she's so dead set on doing things the right way,
Mhm.
she can't see that.
No, absolutely not. Um, and I think also something that's interesting is that her mother is also an artist. She's a painter, and we don't see her have those perfectionist aspects. So it's
I
interesting.
don't know, that's debatable. She has, like, a million of the same paintings, so you could argue that she painted the same subject a million times trying to get it right.
Mm. Are they all the same subject though? I thought
I
they were all
think
kind of
so.
different.
Well, maybe different styles,
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe she was trying to find a perfect style.
Mm.
I don't
Possibly.
know, very up to interpretation. Should we talk more about the OCD side of things?
Absolutely. I love OCD, especially in our Turtles All the Way Down episode.
Facts, you
Major
should
plug.
watch that.
Or listen because we weren't video back then.
Yeah, yeah. So this is an article from the Picking Me Foundation, which is centered around skin picking, obviously. It's also known as dermatillomania. That's another word for skin picking. And it's also known as a form of OCD.
Mhm.
This article says that research conducted by the University of Montreal found that people who have the typically nervous habits of biting their nails or picking at their skin, usually around their nails, are more likely to exhibit and report behaviors, traits, and attitudes consistent with perfectionism. They found that people who are generally impatient or get bored or frustrated easily are more likely to engage in these behaviors. Said behaviors and traits are believed to be rooted within the feelings of restlessness and anxiety often associated with perfectionism, with the need to adjust and repeat an action until a perceived notion of perfection is achieved in the mind of the sufferer. As far as the connection between boredom and picking, perfectionists crave an accomplishment, When they aren't working towards something, feelings of boredom creep in and removing real or perceived imperfections through picking becomes a task that they can work towards.
Mm.
What do you think about that?
So what it's saying is if there's not, maybe I lost it on a way somewhere, but so if there's nothing to strive for in terms of perfectionism, then they pick their nails so that way it gives them something to perfect on.
Pretty much. They hyper fixate on things that they can deem needing improvement, and it gives themselves something to fix, something to
Mm.
work on.
I also think it also gives that person some form of immediate gratification where,
Mhm.
oh, I did it. I fixed my hangnail.
And control.
Yeah.
Like, I just fixed this imperfect thing.
Hmm.
I can do that in other areas of my life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's the mountains to molehills thing,
Mhm.
or molehills to mountains, I guess, in the scenario, starting with your hands and then working your way up. But I mean, Nina definitely does that, and you see her. And I think initially, where or one of the first parts is where she's in the gala. I guess I don't know what you want to call it, where she's advertising her her play, and then she goes fix her nail, the ballet. I don't know why I said play.
Can we talk about the scene where she's getting fitted for the costume and she's looking in the mirror and she sees a version of herself scratching at her skin?
Mm,
That was so freaky.
yeah. I also love the use of mirrors in this movie.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And I like that whole subplot basically with the skin picking and in the back especially, because then it I wouldn't say gets revealed, but it turns out that it turns into Black Swan wings.
Mhm.
And I think almost that scars there, scar picking, whatever you want to call it, is there to signify that the Black Swan's always kind of been with her, just stuck
Mm.
or hidden down, and then it breaks out of her at the end, and the pick goes all around her when she's with Lily, or the skin, this because the skin gets like tough and bubbly. I don't know what do you want to
Yeah,
describe
it
it
has a
as.
weird texture to it.
Yeah,
Kinda looks like netting,
yeah,
scaly.
right. And it goes all around her when
And
her
you
and
can
Lily there.
see it very subtly in certain scenes,
Yeah,
depending on the lighting, which I thought was really cool.
yeah.
I really liked that.
But I like how that skin picking part of her is partially how she turns into the Black Swan, where it's this, rather than going through it and living it in a freely way, she goes through it as a cold, calculated, perfectionist way, where then the skin that she wants to be perfect breaks through and turns into the Black Swan. I think it's more of a symbolism thing, but that's kind of how
Mm.
I take that.
I guess I took it a little bit differently, like, she was trying so hard to control the image that she was conveying, like, "I need to be the perfect swan queen, and that means I can't have any imperfections." But that other version of her was like, like,
Yeah.
scratching at it, like, ferociously, like, "I'm gonna sabotage you, I'm gonna make it
Mm,
so you can't be perfect, I'm actually gonna make it look worse."
mm. I'm not sure if that's another version of herself, and I think that's plays into the anxiety part of this, where Anina's anxious that anything on her body could become worse at any second, like when she peels her skin on her finger
And that
all
she
the way
doesn't
back.
even realize that it's her that's doing it to
Exactly.
herself.
Yeah.
But then eventually that becomes the swan wings. I kinda take it as, let's say, symbolically, Lily already was born with black swan wings, right?
Mhm.
Nina had to literally tear herself apart to
Yeah.
create them. She had to destroy her sense of self to fit a character.
Mhm.
And in the end, she pays for that with her life.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. I still view it as, from the skin picking itself is an embodiment of her perfectionism. So when the black swan breaks through breaks free through that skin tag or skin where she's constantly picking, that's where I see it as the perfectionism came from, or the Black Swan came from her want to be a perfectionist. And you're right, there's that element of, but it cost her life. And she became the Black Swan through a more calculated perfectionist way rather than just living freely.
Because the skin picking comes from a wanting to fix something. But every time you see her pick her skin, she's actually making something so much worse.
Yeah.
Like the hangnail, even though that was imagined, and scratching at the cut on her back, the rash, whatever the hell it was.
Mhm.
And she tries so hard to make those things about her perfect and to get rid of those flaws that she entirely rips her skin off
Yeah.
and destroys herself.
Mhm.
And I think that's symbolic of the perfectionism is literally tearing her apart. It's literally destroying her.
I can see that.
She's so hyper focused on herself that she is her own worst enemy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that take.
Which leads me to our last article. Phys.org.
Classic Fizz.
In June 2025 did Syracuse University did an article on ballet's perfectionism problem. There was a new study published in the Academy of Management Journal, led by Professor Rachel Goodwin, a management scholar with a background in dance. She dives deep into the psychological toll of perfectionism in elite ballet companies.
Mm.
Drawing on interviews with 61 dancers from 24 different companies, the research uncovers a powerful, often painful cycle. How the relentless pressure to perform can push dancers into self destructive patterns, and how subtle acts of kindness and support can pull them back. Goodwin says perfectionism can be a double edged sword. It drives dancers to achieve incredible things, but it can also lead to burnout, anxiety, and even physical harm. In high pressure ballet companies, dancers often face what the study calls dehumanizing cues, being treated like replaceable parts, discouraged from showing emotion, or punished for making mistakes. These cues feed a cycle of maladaptive perfectionism where dancers push themselves to dangerous extremes, which include skipping meals, dancing through injuries, or obsessing over minor flaws. And we see Nina do every single one of those.
Yeah. Did she dance to an injury though?
Yeah, remember she hurt her big toe
Oh
when
yeah,
she was
that's right.
dancing in front of the mirror that
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. She does every single one of those. And what
Yeah.
was it? You said this was written in 2018, right?
No, 2025.
Oh, so it was this year. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where the hell did I get 2018 from?
One of the other
Oh,
articles.
okay.
Um, the study also found hope, a light side of things. When dancers experienced rehumanizing cues, which is a mentor's encouragement, a friend's empathy, or simply being allowed to rest, they began to shift. They still pursued excellence, but with a healthier mindset. They set personal goals, practiced self care, and supported one another. Rehumanization does not mean lowering standards, said Goodwin. It means recognizing that dancers are people first, and when they feel seen and supported, they actually perform better.
So it's kind of like what Lily is trying to do with Nina.
Exactly.
And I think she tries to do that with other people in the company. You just don't see how it affects them because we don't follow the other people in the company.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's clearly what Lily's role is trying to do is the term is rehumanizing.
Mhm.
And what was the other term? But it was like dehumanizing.
Dehumanizing.
I could have guessed that one. So, but yeah, I mean, I think Nina at that point is just exemplifies dehumanization or what it's like to be dehumanized, but
And she
Lily tries
comes
to
to
pull her out.
accept it too,
Yeah.
because when Lily sees her breaking down is like, "What happened? Can I help you? Here,
Hmm.
take a cigarette. Let's talk about it." Nina takes that later, like, her telling Toma that he needs to fucking chill out and not be so hard on her, she takes that as Lily sabotaging her. But I
Mhm.
really think she was trying to be rehumanizing and trying to relieve some of that pressure that she
Yeah.
put on herself and that pressure that Toma was putting on her.
Yeah. And I will say, thing about Tomat, even though he was putting pressure on her, he wasn't putting pressure on her the way that I think she took it.
Absolutely. Some of that pressure was very much in her own head.
Yeah. He was saying more so just live more free. Hey, look at Lily. Look at the way she does it.
But she views things
Yeah.
through such a distorted perfectionist lens that she took it so seriously, like, "I need to perfect being imperfect.
Yes.
I need to perfect the look of chaos."
I think it's so interesting. That was something I was going to mention too. Is when it comes to art, I mean, in the film world, it's very different than it is in the dance world. In the film world, it's let's get 100 different takes of this one scene or one shot, so the director can get the actor's eyebrow in one certain way. It's just fucking stupid. That's why I when you had asked me what it's about, I said that it's about standards that don't fucking exist. They
Yeah.
are there by the director, the creator, or in this case scenario, the dancer, um, to come up with something to show the interpretation of what the art is trying to do, but not in a way where it's freeing. It's a more cold and calculated thing. And it comes to the film world, there's directors that I really like that do that, but there's always something that's missing. There's always that element of I honestly like it when movies have some kind of scrappiness and mistakes to them,
Mm.
and it doesn't
It's, like,
feel
dirty and real.
yeah. And the director doesn't have to do a million different takes to yeah, like Kubrick. I mean, I love The Shining, but it's a little bit excessive that when you had to make your actors do 100 plus takes to get
Mm.
the thing
To the
right.
point where they're dehumanized.
Yeah, and it turns into abuse at that point.
Yeah.
Um, so when it comes to this movie, I don't think the movie is ever trying to say you need the drive for perfection. Because really, the message of the movie is if you drive for perfection, you're gonna fucking kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's really
Pretty
what the message
much.
of the movie is. And the movie is not saying be a perfectionist.
Can we talk about the whole ending of it? How she ends up killing herself? Because that in itself, we haven't touched on much, and it's such an impactful scene when she thinks she's killing Lily.
Hmm.
What did you think about that?
Well, it kind of threw me for a loop because I was actually expecting her to die when she went back into the dressing room and there was blood coming out of
I
the
100% thought that she had killed Lily.
Yeah, me too. Because that's what I was
I
expecting it to
thought,
get
like,
revealed.
we're getting to the end of the movie here. Her delusions have fully taken over. She really thinks that Lily's trying to dethrone her, and she's willing to do anything necessary to keep her role. But
Hmm.
then at the same time, I was like, is nobody realizing that Lily's not on stage
Yeah.
right now?
There was something there where I'm like, something is up.
Like,
What?
nobody noticed that she went missing?
Yeah. Um, but that whole thing, it's hard to think about because it's so chaotic. Because Lily, the Black Swan at that point, is there getting ready, and then Nina, the White Swan, kills the Black Swan. But the Black Swan, she then becomes the Black Swan and takes over. So it's whether her in her mind thinks that killing Lily will make her become the Black Swan in her mind.
Eliminating the competition.
Yeah, but then she stabs herself, so I guess that's a way of signifying that she was the Black Swan all along, I guess.
The way I took it was she stabbed what was attacking her, and she thought it was Lily
Mm,
attacking her all this time, but it was really herself attacking her. Her
mhm,
brain was attacking her with the thoughts of perfectionism.
right. Yeah, I could see that. I still think that's the final thing for her to become the Black Swan. So that's the final transformation. I guess you could say that her killing herself or injuring the person who was harming her would make her into the Black Swan.
Well, that's a very chaotic, carefree thing to do.
Yeah.
I guess stab yourself with a piece of mirror if that makes you get into character.
Also, how did she break that mirror?
I think she slammed Lily into it, didn't
But
she?
Lily wasn't there.
Well, she probably punched it.
Mm,
She probably hit it like her own reflection, thinking it was Lily.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I certainly wasn't expecting her to stab herself. I almost thought she completely made it up, but I like how the movie shows that this mirror is definitely broken.
Yeah,
This mirror is broken completely. There's
yeah.
no question about it. So then you
It
as an
shows that her
audience,
meltdown was very real.
yeah. So as an audience, you're sitting there like, well, if the mirror's broken and when Lily's not dead, what's going on?
Yeah.
So,
But then it kind of acts like that whole thing didn't happen. She goes on stage and she just keeps going.
yeah. Well, you see that she stabbed herself, but then she goes and keeps going.
But at that point, it's so unclear if that's real or
Oh,
not.
yeah.
Because I'm like, no fucking way. Nobody's looking at her like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was so small on the dress. I guess if you were an attendance member, you can maybe think like, "Oh, this must be part of the show," or something.
Which I mean, it kind of fits the
It
storyline
does.
because the White Swan does kill herself.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was also a last ditch effort to be a perfect white swan as well, because the white swan is the victim in the end.
Mm. Yeah.
She sees herself as Lily's victim.
Mm. I can see that.
I just love how many different ways you can interpret the different really pivotal scenes.
Yeah.
There's so many different angles to take, and I don't think any of them are really right or wrong.
No.
'Cause they leave it so open-ended that you can make a good argument for a ton of different ideas.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like about the movie too is where the movie is close-ended, where there's not much interpretation of what happens, but more so how you interpret what happens, which is what I like about it.
Or how it happens.
Yeah, or how it happens too. I think the most of the time it's kind of straightforward, with a few handful of exceptions. For example, when she goes back to the apartment, her mom's there, but Lily's there, but it turns out she's not there. It's
Mhm.
you think, well, who was there? Was there anyone even there in the first place? I don't think anyone was there. I think it was
I don't
just
think
Nina
so
being
either.
there. And then she finally masturbates. I think that's what that whole point
Yeah,
of that is.
but it's not the perfect thing to do that by yourself, so she imagined Lily being the one there, like, peer pressuring her.
Hmm.
That way it wasn't her idea, it was somebody else corrupting her or whatever.
Right. Well, Lily to her is the Black Swan, so she
Yeah.
sees it as the evil person doing it to her as a more of a free will thing. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. Do you have anything to add in addition to that?
Um, I just found that dance article to be really interesting, talking about how especially professional dance can be so dehumanizing the way you're treated, but it's so important if you're in that field to allow yourself the moments
Hmm.
of rehumanization and to facilitate them when you don't see them. To be the person that gives your colleague a compliment instead of feeling threatened by them.
Right.
To recognize your own talents instead of tearing yourself down all the time.
And I think that's a good life thing overall too.
100%. And you related it to, your industry, so I'll relate it to mine as well. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on therapists to be trained in every diagnosis, every modality, but it's so important to remember that the most important thing is just being an active listener and a witness to somebody's story. And
Mm.
people lose touch with that very quickly and get hung up on what they're trained in, what they're certified in, what they're experienced in, and those things are important, but not as important as just sitting there and having compassion for a human being.
Right. Yeah. And I think going back to my field, I think anytime that I've had I wouldn't say like a good time on set, but anytime where I feel a production went through smoothly is when a director had a balance of, look, this is what I want. Because I mean, as a director, you do want things.
Yeah.
That's your job, is to direct what you want.
Have an expectation.
Yes, but there's a balance between get what you want and be a good human being. So the
Yeah.
and complimenting your crew or being there for your crew, and this is more of a producer's thing, but just making sure that your crew is happy on set too.
Giving people adequate breaks.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I definitely come more from a perspective of not a large director background in terms of size of production. Because I mean, on set, when you're a director, you're directing, and then when you're there, you have other people there that do handle the crew. But in the end, it's more of the story is don't be a douchebag. So,
Well, I feel like big directors have something to take away from smaller directors, like stay humble.
hmm
Stay with the roots of you're here to have fun and to create something that's meaningful to someone.
hmm
Don't lose touch of the humanity in that
yeah, yeah,
just
absolutely.
because you're making $1 billion versus 0.
Yeah, and I think in art, sometimes that does get lost. Of we were here initially to have fun, and now it's I need to get this because I want it, and I don't care what anyone else
Or
has to
I need
say.
to be the best in this.
Yeah,
I need to generate this much revenue. I need to get nominated for these
yeah.
awards.
Or even you can equate it to a small person or a small director, more indie director, and say, "I need to win a film festival.
Mhm.
I need to get some money and win this back. I need somebody to buy this movie." But you lose touch, and it's hard to say because I mean, I come from the perspective of I do it for fun. I definitely don't do it for a living, but if I make a couple bucks off of it, I'm not going to complain. But some people have to live off of it, and that's their
Yeah.
life, is to sell their movies, get in festivals, which I respect, but also you do have to come from the background of also have a good time while you're doing it. It's more so enjoy the ride, not the
Mm.
destination. So
And something we've both seen and witnessed is how that goes into the dog sports world as
yeah.
well. And you can cut this if it's not relevant, but we attended a scent work trial with our doggy over here who's sleeping right now. Um, he's trained in scent work, and that means that he just is sent into a room and told to find a specific smell, and he has to indicate that to me, and then I report it to the judge and let them know that he's found it. And I noticed so many competitors not patting their dog for doing a good job after they found what they were looking for. And some of those people were placing, like, got 1st place and were still not happy with their dog's performance, or maybe they were happy, but they didn't credit the dog
Mhm.
appropriately for doing what they were asked to do. And there was a dog show running at the same time, so, like, confirmation, the shit you see on TV, like, that kinda dog show was running at the same time. And I distinctly remember somebody in the room where they set up all the ribbons being like, "She coulda earned another 1st place if I had just done this a little better." And she had, like, 4 high-level ribbons. Like, one of them was fucking massive. It was, like, 3 feet long, and she was bitching about how she coulda gotten another one. I had my little qualifying ribbon for Harry and was like, "Oh my god, we qualified!" We did not place. I'll tell you that. We were one of the worst competitors, but he fucking did what I asked him to.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the work he put into that. And I feel like that is not well respected enough in a lot of fields, all the work that goes into it, even if you don't get the perfect result.
Yeah. And it goes back to we do it because we have fun doing it and he has fun doing
Yeah.
it. So there's no need
There
to
is nothing like the feeling of him scream crying when we pull up to his scent work class because he's so excited to sniff for essential oils. It's so ridiculous, but there is nothing like that.
and I'm being sandpapered by our cat right now. So awesome.
She loves you. She's giving kisses. She's, uh she's an interesting one. She's been very kissy lately.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's all we have for today. Is there anything else you have?
Nope. Be kind to yourself. Even if you don't achieve what you set out to, recognize the effort that you put in and give yourself credit where credit's due. And take the chances that you get to rehumanize yourself and the people around you.
Hmm, I agree. And don't get a film degree. It's a running joke
Yeah,
at this point.
don't get a film degree.
Don't get a film degree. But yeah, thank you all for listening. And if you made it this far, thank you. I'm being sandpapered again. Awesome. Uh, if you would like to support us, subscribe and rate and okay, you're hurting my wrist. And subscribe and rate. Share with your friends.
Like, put on one of our videos in the background and let it roll. Listen to us while you're doing the dishes or driving or whatever the hell you're doing.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, and if you also have any suggestions for improving this or any episode suggestions, definitely let us know.
Please, please do. We get very little interaction and sometimes it feels like yelling into the void. So we love feedback. Give us feedback.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm gonna continue to be sandpapered. I'm gonna go. This is hurt my wrist. But thank you all for listening. And have a great day.